Hello, welcome to Search with Sean, and this is part of the Chat with Sean series, which hopefully you've watched some of the others and enjoyed. Firstly, we just do some admin stuff as usual, get that done, and then I introduce you to a great guest today, as usual. So admin stuff, so obviously, like I say, we've been doing loads of chats recently. The latest one with Natalia Witczyk, international speaker, you've probably seen her at Brighton SEO, really popular in the sector. And we mainly focus on international SEO. So if that's kind of your interest, then I really recommend watching that and following her on LinkedIn and so on, because she really knows her stuff. And all the chats are on Spotify as well. So if you ever want to watch on the go or whatever, in the gym where I watch videos sometimes, then obviously they're all on Spotify to watch as well. And additionally, as you know, we don't just chat to people, we also cover the SEO and AI news that's going on. And the last one I recorded on my own. I didn't have anyone helping me this time, which was weird because I had no one to talk to. But we still covered some great things. So we covered like Yelp suing Google, which was really interesting case. The spam updates from Google, which was intriguing. And the case studies, there's a few case studies actually, but one from Moz, which was really interesting there, and much more in that episode. So I'll put some links always in the description. So if you want to catch up on those, please do. And generally, obviously, please do subscribe and all those things, because it does help the channel. It helps us grow, get more visibility on the YouTube algorithms, and obviously we can start doing more things. We've got a lot planned. We've got tons of chats with really great people coming up all throughout, right until the end of January now. I'm booked up. I've got some great guests, and obviously we'll keep doing the news episodes as well. And on that note, as you probably heard me say, and I put the promo video in the description with all the info, but we got the event I'm trying to do, which will be a whole, was going to be 2 days. It might even have to be more now, because I've had some great feedback from experts across digital marketing. And it'll just be basically pre-recorded presentations on a whole host of different topics in digital marketing, and from great experts in the field, from all, from people who don't usually present to those who you may recognize. And it'll be just a streamed event, live event for a whole, like I say, it was meant to be 2 days, could be more now because there's been such overwhelming response, which is awesome. And it'll be me talking through, summarizing the videos and just kind of going through them. And obviously that'll be recorded. You can watch it in your own time as well. So, but if you are interested in taking part, if you want to speak in the event, record a message, record a presentation, then do get in touch with me on LinkedIn or leave a comment on here. Or obviously if you want to watch it, then just stay tuned, subscribe so you can get the latest updates, or follow me on LinkedIn, because they haven't been finalized yet. I'm just trying to see what I'm playing with first, and then I can put it together. But I'm really excited, because the people I've got already involved and the topics included is really interesting. I think it's gonna be such a, you're going to learn a lot, basically, and not just the basics. There's some really great stuff in there. So that's all that stuff out of the way. And now onto our great guest, someone I worked with in my career, very knows his stuff. And as you've probably seen, it's James Owen. And I'll just do a quick introduction, then we get into the good stuff. But yeah, generally, here we go. So James is the co-founder and director of Click Intelligence. Established in 2012, Click Intelligence is a digital marketing agency that specializes in technical SEO, link building, content marketing, and paid media. And you're well known in the sector. Is there anything I missed out there? But first of all, thank you for being on.
That's really good. No, all good. That's that's correct. And thanks for having me today, Sean.
No, it's a pleasure. And like I say, you really know stuff, and Click as well. well known in the industry. I know you go to all the Brighton SEOs and stuff, so I'm sure people have seen you around. Which kind of leads us on to the first question, I guess, in terms of like what inspired you to co-found Click Intelligence, and how has the agency evolved over the years? Obviously, even just recently, the industry is changing quite a lot. So yeah, what inspired you?
Really good question. I think it's pretty worth going back to the start of kind of my career and kind of my background. So I was always very, very interested in websites, back in kind of school and so forth, when kind of Google wasn't that, was just about, was just about to become a thing, and obviously everyone's using Yahoo and stuff. So I'm, going way back to kind of pre-2000. So kind of understanding, kind of building little websites, nothing amazing, just kind of understanding how to kind of drag and drop and how HTML works, and just kind of how things kind of put together. So there's this kind of general interest with that. And then essentially my first kind of foray into kind of SEO, and it wasn't even SEO back in those days. It wasn't even a career path. No one would say, "Oh, you're just going to get involved in SEO." It was very much you'd go and get a job in a web publishing company, which I guess you'd call kind of a web business now, I guess. But back in that, when I started, it was kind of web publishing. So back in 2007, I was offered a great kind of administration role, working for a web publishing company, and they had a load of websites, and one of their section websites was dating, so online dating. And I was kind of brought in just to kind of make website updates, bits of content here and there, and just kind of learn the code a little bit. It was on a really basic kind of CMS platform, but was being built in house. It's all kind of bespoke. This is before, pre-WordPress, as such as well. So really learning how things work. How do you load a website onto FTP? What is the index page? And just stuff, really kind of basic stuff like that, which I think is really kind of key to learning the basics and see how things work. So I was there for a little while. I spent a lot of my time doing, it sounds archaic now, but kind of directory submission, article submission. So literally, we had a software platform. Can't remember what it was called now, but essentially you load up, your website. Then you'd have a list of other kind of sounds crazy, but low quality kind of directories. And I was asked, just click here, select your description, the link, press go, and literally you spend you spend hours doing this. I asked a question to my manager at one point. I said, "What's the point doing this? Well, we build links. It's the best way to build links. It's free, and that's what we want to be doing." So that was kind of the first part of kind of learning how to link build, and even to the extent that we used to do kind of reciprocal directory submission, which is just even more ridiculous. Where basically you got your own directory on your own website, and then you'd also get a link off their reciprocal directory on their own website, and then you'd kind of cross-link, and just crazy. This is obviously pre Penguin and everything like this. It's like back in 2007. And then obviously the same thing with article submission again, just kind of copy and pasting, and just can be kind of ludicrous of what we were actually doing, but that is what everyone was doing at the time. Even more so, kind of article submission, that was a bit more exotic because you had to actually have some content. So you would spin the content up and whatnot, and kind of post it on sites which had probably no value, no traffic, no nothing. But that was what everyone was doing, and it was working. Kind of Google back in the day, that was what they were kind of doing. So that was kind of my education, as it were. Obviously, move on. Many years later, we wouldn't dream of doing this, but it's kind of that is what the industry was out in 2007. After doing that for a year or so, I kind of moved on to working for a travel digital marketing agency. It was great. They were US based. I got to travel to US a few times. I got to travel to Middle East as well to visit clients. So that was quite cool. Got involved with kind of PPC as well. So with the SEO and the PPC, that was quite interesting. Hadn't done a huge amount of PPC before that. And then I kind of moved on to work for two entrepreneurs who owned e-commerce websites. and kind of seeing, there was kind of a block of desks. Okay, there at one end you had the kind of PR team, marketing managers, and I was kind of the SEO guy, but at the at the back of the desks, and I was kind of left on my own. And that was kind of what the SEO person was. Well, kind of the oh yeah, he's in the cupboard. He just does some strange stuff on the website. We get rankings, whatever. That was kind of at most times. That's what kind of the SEO people we were kind of described as. Anyway, so so I sat there, really interesting. The two guys, they were doing business on the phone the whole time. I could obviously see it. I was doing my thing. I was kind of watching. I thought, this is what they're doing is really cool. I mean, they're running a business and making money, and they're doing deals and getting investment, and small business, but doing some really cool stuff. So they actually ended up floating on the London Stock Exchange, which is quite cool. So I kind of saw a little bit of that, and that kind of put a bit of fire in my belly. I guess, oh, they're doing that. That's quite interesting. That's maybe what I want to do. So yeah, we had the e-commerce sites. We did a few other clients as well. So a small little agency, I guess, a little bit of that. So I had a little bit of experience of doing client agency work. Then I went off to work for a company called Jackpot Joy, which is basically a bingo business, which is kind of well known. I've got adverts and such. And when you go from kind of e-commerce, which is quite, you're kind of selling like Mother's Day gifts and Father's Day gifts, to selling basically iGaming, completely different situation. You earn your stripes, very, very quickly. You either sink or swim in the iGaming business. They're a interesting bunch. Let's say I enjoy working there. You learn a huge amount. It's all about link building in the iGaming space. You can be really good on page, that's fine, but that's not going to cut it. You've got to be good at link building. Different strategies that need to be implemented. Something completely different. It's kind of like SEO on steroids, essentially. So that was fun. Again, getting a lot of experience. Again, that was in-house role. And then I was headhunted to go and work for hotels.com. Okay, which I spent next kind of 2.5, 3 years in there, and that was kind of very corporate. Stuff happened very slowly. Where this is a bit of exaggeration, but essentially you'd ask for a title tag or H1 tag to be updated. The time you've got to wait is in quarters. And how long you got to wait now? For this update, so very slow. The strategy was drawn out, and it's fine. I learned a lot again about how big companies kind of do their kind of scrum works and updates and whatnot, but also having to be able to work with agencies. So I was on a flip point now where I was in-house. They brought in loads of agencies, and this is kind of where, for me, kind of answers your question a little bit. Kind of where did click terms come from? Now I was working. I won't name agencies. It's unfair to do so, but there was probably like kind of 2 or 3 agencies we were working with at the time. They were brought in before I joined hotels.com, so I was kind of lumped to say, look, this is what we signed off. Go and make it work. Okay, fine. What I quickly found out were they were getting paid a heck of a lot of money, ridiculous amount of money for what they were delivering. The value level was, I think, really low. They were contracted for like 6 months to a year at a time, paying a heck of a lot of money, and it's kind of like, okay, well, what are you going to do for us? And the output, he was pretty bad, if I'm honest, really bad. And we're going back to days where you could actually get, SEO companies could get clients sign up for 12, 24-month contracts, and then they'd be stuck in them, and it's terrible. Now, obviously, a bit different. The industry's kind of grown up and kind of changed a little bit, but essentially, for me, it was about the output. I did some analysis and worked out, okay, look, we need to build X amount of links to these, 15, 20 pages. Booking.com are kind of killing us in UK SERP. What can we do? And you're paying £5,000 for an infographic, which may or may not get any links whatsoever. So it was kind of like, we got to build these links. This is what is required. This is what the solution. It's not going to work. So that kind of dawned on me that surely there's a better way. There's got to be a better way to do this en masse. Allow the in-house SEO to have full control of the process, and basically deliver link building or SEO campaign or whatever they require in a transparent manner that's going to be able to give value to the client. So that was kind of the idea. I kind of saw the other agencies kind of doing what they're doing. I went to Brighton SEO, probably it was like year 2 or 3 of Brighton SEO. So I was quite early doors into that kind of conference. Met a lot of people, really, really interesting. And I thought, right, I was kind of a bit of a situation with my career. It was like, where I was right now, the head of SEO, he'd been there a little while. He wasn't going anywhere. There was no other opportunities elsewhere within the business. Obviously, the company was owned by Expedia. They own lots of different brands, but it wasn't really any other opportunities. I was like, this is, I've got kind of 5-6 years under my belt of SEO, digital marketing experience. Worked in house, done a bit of agency work. What can I do now? And I thought it's now time to go and do your own agency. Surely that's the right time to do it. I know that these sort of businesses are paying a load of money out for bad SEO, so they're going to pay a load of money out for good SEO. That was kind of the idea. But I thought, look, I'm not very good at sales. I'm good at the tech. No problem. I can talk through the tech stuff, no issue whatsoever. But actually, the commercial, the sales is probably where I was kind of missing. Okay, kind of shinking, in my armor. And you've got to be honest about your strengths and weaknesses. Mine was sales. I'd never done it, not part of my job. So Simon Brisk, who is now obviously the co-founder of Click Intelligence as well, he actually LinkedIn me. Okay, he messaged me on LinkedIn, basically saying, are you looking for link building in German? Which actually I was actually. It was quite useful. He did actually hit me up. And this was the first time I actually worked with a small agency who was working for a time, and just actually do the process I wanted to do versus have a huge contract and have no transparency and no control. So that was really, really useful. I got on well with him. He was kind of looking to do his own agency. He's run over companies before, and he was looking, funny enough, for someone to go into partnership with who had a tech, but he also needed the sales. So it made sense. We met a few times, had a few kind of lunches in London and whatnot, and we decided, let's go ahead and do this. This is kind of makes sense. So I kind of met him, and then within 3 months, I had a business with him, which sounds crazy. It is crazy, but it kind of worked. So that's kind of the journey I've gone on to get to the start of kind of Click Intelligence. But essentially, kind of how has it evolved over the years? My idea was always about having an agency that's plugged into software. So the start of the business was about us being able to outreach to write sites for our client link building campaigns. I'd done a little bit of, I understood quite a lot about website scraping, scraping Google as well for search results. From my iGaming days, we used to do that. We had an internal tool for seeing about if links had gone live and stuff. This is before Ahrefs become a thing. Okay, so the tool was built. I kind of had the idea actually use a similar tool, but actually scrape Google for search results for certain keywords, and basically bring down all the websites that rank for that, those search queries. Those are good sites to go after in terms of outreach. So the tool was kind of built. We're doing the SEO campaign, but the tech stuff for clients, had the outreach, and the main thing is to be able to give the client, say, look, this is what we're going to be doing. Done the on page. We need to do a link building campaign. This is the analysis, and we links you to get paid. We need to build per landing page. These are the sites that we're going to outreach to. These are sites that come back and say they're happy to host content. Are you happy to proceed? This is the anchor text. This is the content. Can we have your approval? And to give a client that amount of transparency and say yes or no to something, it's completely, at the time, it's completely new. Okay, so that was our kind of USP that really worked really well. And over the course of time, we kind of updated with kind of the tech, but essentially the backdrop of it was we were scraping Google. Okay, and if you scrape Google back in those days, Google's changing SERP all the time. I think anyone who owns a kind of keyword ranking business would know it's an absolute nightmare. We didn't have the funds or the investment because kind of click intelligence, even up to today, has had no outside investment. It's been just literally me and Simon invested a certain amount of money to start with, and we just built it. So yeah, no outside investment at all. So essentially, we kind of draw a line on underneath that, and essentially we just focus on other outreach kind of strategies, but the bedrock of the business has continued to be the same, where people can retrieve that we do with complete transparency. To a point where yesterday I had a call with a client who come to us and said, "Look, James, we've gone out and spent a lot of money. I mean, eye-watering amount of money on link building and SEO last 12 months. I've asked for a report from the agency, who I had never heard of, which is kind of a bit concerning itself, and they haven't given us any report. They said they don't make any notes of what they've actually done, which sounds fishy as hell. And can you show me if they've done anything?" So I went on the Hrefs, nothing from the point when they started to the point when they finished. Yeah, rankings have gone up. Yeah, kind of traffic's gone up organically because there's updates and whatever, but no work whatsoever. It's incredible that agencies are still doing this and not being kind of transparent. So that's kind of bedrock of a kind of the business. We've kind of gone from strength to strength. We've now got kind of 35 full-time members of staff. Back then, I started head of SEO. Now I'm basically head of kind of technology, I guess, and kind of general director of the business. So that's kind of where we're at. Interesting kind of process, really.
That's really, really interesting, and some great insights there. And just talking about a bit of script, but in terms of like the evolving side of things, so how, when we look back at 2012, how has demands from clients maybe now there's a bit more education around SEO and the importance of, compared to nowadays? Is that, does their demands change? That they're kind of the way they approach you around it, is it changed much? Or
no, I think we as a business, because I've seen other link building strategies. I've tested stuff on my own websites, pre kind of click. I knew kind of what was going to get penguined, okay, as it were. We've never had a client who's come on board and we've started a strategy who's ever got a penalty. Now, I don't know, a lot of SEO agents can say that. We worked on thousands of campaigns, no penalties. So essentially, over time for us, it's very much been, our level was up here anyway. Client citations have slowly come, nearly kind of met us. Now, you always get the kind of client comes in with, 2p and they want £1 million worth of value. So you're always going to get that. But it's about kind of setting expectations as quickly as possible, and kind of getting on board with that as well. But to answer your question, absolutely. They, I think, as the industry has grown up, you've got clients who have, who now said, "I've worked with 7 SEO agencies." Those are clients you think, "Oh, okay, right, what have they done for you?" They're going to be the most difficult people to work with because they've got a lot of experience working with agencies. Not that we would do a bad job, of course we wouldn't, but it's kind of, we're having to deal with baggage from other agencies who've done maybe bad work or not delivered work or haven't been transparent. So it's got kind of setting expectations as soon as possible, making sure they're on board with it, and kind of moving along with it. But it is getting a lot more tough. There's no doubt.
Yeah, you can see that even just in, as you say, when you were going bright SEO before I was, but even just
right.
If throughout the years you can see the kind of people that are going, it's gone from really kind of specialist SEOs to quite a broad kind of attendance. Like people from all over the kind of marketing kind of sector are going to the Brighton SEO and other similar events. So I think that really underlines that point. And I must say, working with you in the past, that you are very transparent and stuff. I think that's the best thing you could do when you work with anyone, but definitely when you're outsourcing stuff and that kind of thing.
I think just kind of pick up a point about the different types of people and whatever. I think where I started on kind of tick around with building websites, understanding hosting, FTPs and servers and whatever else. I think the cream of the crop of SEOs are not always coming from that ilk. They're kind of maybe from a kind of social media or content, and when I'm interviewing kind of SEOs for kind of roles within Click, I say, oh, have you built yourself a website? No. You say WordPress? No. I've done it for clients, but I've never built my own website. That concerns me, because you haven't got the excitement maybe, or the background knowledge to want to go and do these things and kind of experiment things. It hasn't got to be a fully-fledged website. It could be anything. It doesn't matter. Just kind of play around with it. It's kind of, so that's quite scary. Obviously I've been in the industry for kind of 17 years now, and things have moved on. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, no, it's a very good point. And I think, obviously, this isn't about me, obviously, but when I started off,
Sure.
me and my friend from uni, we started building a website, and that's where I got my buzz into learning about organic and HTML and all that kind of thing. And it wasn't an amazing website, but it was that kind of first. And then I moved into like PPC, and that's helped me kind of understand the relationship. And I do think it helps. And something we discussed in other chats. So just talking about, with the next one was, can you tell us about a successful client project that demonstrates Click Intelligence's approach to SEO? I mean, any kind of examples, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm going to give you one which, so at the start of business, I was head of SEO. We had one assistant, but the business looked smaller and kind of compact. So we took on a client in 2014. Okay, so I'm going back quite some time, but I think it's a really good example. And they were basically a web hosting company, kind of startup business. They were called bestwebhosting.co.uk, and essentially they knew what they were doing. The directors had already kind of done hosting business before. They sold and whatnot. This is their new baby, their new startup, and essentially they only began a kind of couple of months. They had a good solid base of kind of technology. Didn't know anything about SEO. They actually built their last company literally on kind of referral traffic and kind of word of mouth. So SEO was a completely new thing to them. In terms of kind of budgets, I mean, even back in 2014, their budget they gave was really small. It was under £1,000 a month, to give you an idea, to start with at least. So I'm not saying you can do this now, but this is kind of what happened. Okay. And essentially their mindset was, James, we're happy to do whatever you want to do. We'll just do it. Okay. You're the experts. We need to get this done. We're moving mountains to make updates to kind of content to our website, to build our website out. Whatever you say, we kind of do for you. And I remember this because you get clients come along and say, and you ask them, are you happy to make website updates? And they say, yeah, of course we'll make website updates for you, no problems at all. But once you actually get down the crux of it, here's your SEO audit, these are recommendations. We need to change your URL structure. We need to change, you need to add some internal linking, keep these new landing pages on. There's resistance, and then they come back to you like 6 months down the line and say, well, where's the results? So we've been fighting with your developers to get this done. They haven't done it. We've done link building, done some content where we could, but results not that great. On the flip side, this client was A1, fantastic. So our approach to SEO for this one was amazing, and this is kind of a bit like a blueprint moving forward. This is kind of obviously pre kind of EAT and so on and so forth, but a lot of things that I did in this campaign we still do today. So we run a on-page technical audit, got the site set up for Google. We did a content strategy for kind of long form content, along with just making sure their category and service pages were correct for kind of Google, and kind of set up kind of correctly. And then essentially, they had no referring domains whatsoever. So we had to do something, we had to kind of get things going. So we started some kind of low level kind of link building, kind of grew that over time. Their budgets did increase, but not to tens of thousands. It was kind of under £5,000 like kind of month. Once we got to kind of 2015, 2016. So that was kind of the budget we were playing with. Majority we do was kind of content and link building. And I'm not talking about really high, kind of like big site link building. It was just getting, the competition was stiff. We had to get the volume there, okay, but high quality link building, kind of blogger outreach type kind of, and that really worked quite well. This is probably, it worked so well. I think there were days with a Zap Match domain, so best web hosting, it kind of worked. Okay, we had webinar hosting, also best. So I think that helped us massively back then. I don't think it would work so well now. I think the budget should spend probably about 3 or 4 times what they were willing to spend back in the day. And from that, the results we got were, we got page 1, position 1 to 3 for hosting, web hosting, reseller hosting, unlimited hosting, BPS hosting, and then also hosting for kind of CMSs like Magento hosting, WordPress hosting, I think, Drupal hosting. All page 1, position 1 to 3. Okay. They started in 2014. They started with 464 unique visitors per month. They ended with us, and I'll tell you in a minute why they ended with us. 2017, we were at 25,000 visitors. Okay, they're so successful, they were acquired by another hosting company. So that was a good trajectory of basically starting from nowhere with a website that was fairly simple, building the site out with right content, with right internal linking structure, making sure right keywords were in there, and then also doing the right kind of link building on top of it to add value, and to a point where we basically took it from 464 unique a month, and in 2017, 25,000 a month. It was one of it, so when it was acquired, it was a bit of a kind of bittersweet. It was like, oh, that's great, we worked really hard. They're now, that's gone off, and obviously good to them, and made really well out of it. We were nominated for a UK Search Award. We didn't win it. Unfortunately, I was quite annoyed about that. But anyway, I thought I did a really good job. But essentially, bringing a kind of non-branded business into the SERP, dominating for kind of search like kind of page 1 to 3 for hosting, unbelievable. I don't think you could do it today, but for some reason, over that period of time, it worked really well, and we cornered the market essentially. That's probably a really good example of our SEO process, and kind of demonstrates the kind of value add in terms of taking something from nowhere to basically taking over slice of market. We have worked in other hosting businesses since then, but they've been more established. The results were great, but this one's for me kind of stand out. And it's a small business. It was great.
Yeah.
So you haven't got to have a huge amount of budget to do what you want to do. It probably right time, right place to do it. But so I don't really do it now. But it was really good. And, it was a pleasure to work on that. So that's probably a good example of a client project.
Yeah, no, it was a really, really good example. And I guess what it alludes to, I guess, is the collaboration, importance of collaboration. Like one side can't do all the heavy lifting. It has to be both sides working together to make sure that even the recommendations get carried through, or and you listen to each other and what each other wants, and also like the combination link building and content both have an impact in the final outcome. You can't just rely on one or the other, and I still think that holds true today, obviously. So and a bit off piece again, but it's obviously a controversial sort of topic these days. I don't know why, because I think there's been enough proof it is the fact. But do backlinks still hold like influence in rankings of visibility and that kind of thing? Would you say? I mean, I've got my own opinions, but obviously you work very closely with that kind of thing. So yeah, what do you think?
I think it does. You can't have one without other. I don't think. I mean, I'm not saying link building for the sake of it. I mean, if some of our campaigns, we look at kind of low hanging fruit kind of keywords. So we've taken on a small IT business. Not actually dissimilar from a hosting business. Actually, they literally haven't even got title tag optimized. That sort of level I'm talking about of kind of where we're working with them on. They don't know what a sitemap, a sitemap XML is or a robot.txt. They haven't got that on their site. So, they've got very few backlinks. Throwing domains to their site. Kind of, we can optimize their website. We're going to do the same similar strategy of making sure that you want to rank three set of keywords which make sense for your service and product. Okay, great, but you're going to need to make sure you have landing pages that make sense to answer those questions that people are kind of typing into Google. So once you've got that set up and that's all streamlined, you can't expect Google to say, yeah, you've ticked all boxes, we'll put you on page 1. It's not going to happen. You need some value pointing to it. So in that case, we do need to do some link building. Big competitors have X amount of thrown domains or this quality or from referencing kind of relevant content. We're going to need to do our own version of that, to an extent. So that's kind of a similar scenario to the hosting company that we spoke about. In terms of a larger corporate business, okay, that have been going on a long time. They got to the point where they're now earning links, and that's really kind of key here. Earning links. You heard, when kind of Penguin happened, and I think everyone stopped building links from bidding links from one site and stuff like that. Not I was doing that, but a lot of people were doing that. Okay, is that match ain't text? Everyone was talking about and in Brighton SEO and other conferences, you got to create content for link earning and whatever. Okay, that's great. But if you strip that down, you need to be authority to put out content to earn the links, okay? And the links that you want to different landing pages, you might not be able to do that. So I think I'm not saying I would agree that you shouldn't be link building just for the sake of it. If you believe that the pages you're trying to rank for are commercial terms or informational term pages that require links, then obviously do a link campaign around that. If not, optimize your content. Maybe your bottom of mid page 2, you've got enough links. Just maybe refresh the landing page. Look at what is Google kind of looking at on what landing pages is Google kind of ranking on page 1. Okay, have they got long form content? Is it commercial? Just tailor your page in that extent. You might then need a couple fresh links. You'll be on page 1, opposed to all you can do is link building, which is kind of on which I wouldn't agree with. The premise of does link building work? 100%. There's no doubt. But it has to be you got to execute it correctly and at the correct time.
Yeah, it's all about like you say, it's a mixture of actually having good content and also doing it, the relevance of the links that are built, and also I think people are saying it doesn't work, obviously either doing it wrong or they're not tracking it correctly, because obviously when I've used tools like SEOTesting, which I've had the founder on here before, if you track things and then you've seen links being built and things have improved, then obviously you can tell if it's worked or not. Obviously there's loads of things that also come into play when you could have just generally done that organically, or it could have because you made some content changes or internal linking changes or whatever, but it all adds up, and that's the point. It isn't just like one thing or the other. So in terms of obviously things are changing a lot, especially at the moment in the search landscape and digital marketing generally. How do you keep up to date with everything over at Click Intelligence?
So for us, it's about being integrated into the SEO industry, and that is kind of via, you know, I wouldn't say you have to go to every single conference. You don't. I mean, the amount of write-ups and stuff that people put on there anyway, and you can watch videos of conferences. So as long as you're kind of integrated within that, I think that's kind of useful. And essentially, you know, when I've gone to conferences, you kind of pick out 2-3 kind of gold nuggets, and that's kind of what you got out of the day. You're not going to get more than that, really. So essentially, yeah, kind of get involved in kind of industry conferences, talking to people, you know, kind of reading industry blogs, being signed up to newsletters, that sort of stuff. That's kind of high level stuff, okay, and that's fine, and you should be doing. But as an agency, we have a really good grasp on, you know, what is going on the search landscape, because we're an agency, we've got lots of clients, okay, in different sectors, different SERPs, different keywords, everything. So it's about, for us, it's about digging into the data, okay. What someone's talking about on a newsletter or on a conference or whatever, that is potentially a very specific situation they've seen, that maybe not what you're seeing in your industry, you know, in your client's industry or your client's SERP. So essentially, that we want to dig into what is Google actually doing within this SERP. Okay, why are they showing us kind of commercial and long form content and, you know, listicle landing pages all in one SERP? What is going on? Is Google kind of confused? You know, is Google, you know, looking for sites that are kind of putting out, you know, kind of pumping out fresh content? They got a lot of links pointing to it. Are they, you know, things to the thing, but, you know, are all these sites, you know, kind of really fast in terms of page speed? You know, so trying to kind of, I guess, kind of peel the onion and actually, you know, okay, someone's saying this over there, someone's saying this over here, but what am I seeing? Let's dig into the data. Kind of, why is this website doing so well? Why is our competitor, you know, tanking? You know, and really understand kind of the landscape. It's changing all the time, so it's not kind of like, all right, well, today this is that, and next month, you know, we're looking again. It's kind of an ongoing process. Each week, we kind of look at our clients and, okay, how's it, you know, how's it going? And what's Google saying? What people saying? Kind of then comes to your own opinion. Okay, and that's how we kind of talk to our clients. We say, look, we've seen this, we've seen your competitors doing this as well, and you know, our strategy is working because of this reason. So that's kind of how we evaluate landscape for our client and client journey.
Yeah, no, it's good. And I think also, you know, especially working house, you can get very wrapped up in just solely focusing on your site and what's going on there. But it's also good to like also look into your competitors, see how what they're behaving like and stuff, what they're doing, creating new content, what pages are doing well for them, how they're behaving in the SERPs as well. But also look at other industries, you know, even if you're interested in a certain area, go and look at it, you know, to kind of, because like you say, an agency is a little bit easier because you got all different clients, but especially if you're working in house, you don't get that sort of opportunity. So yeah, and also, you know, like you say, follow different types of people, because you don't want to hear the same voices all the time. You know, obviously Lily Ray does really good in summarizing the top kind of results. Says every time there's an update or something, but they're usually in America, but it still gives you some good steer. And there's things like Good Signals where they have loads of different guests and answer questions from people, and I learn a lot from those sessions, and I'll put a link in the description. I was on that, so I have to plug that. But that was really interesting. But yeah, definitely. You seem to be on top of it also. And in terms of so yeah, what the next one was about content marketing. So what's the approach that you usually take on content marketing to kind of create effective campaigns? Obviously, there's a lot of talk around content, and obviously the whole EAT side of things have come into it. Has these sort of updates changed how you've created content now?
So I think I just want to go back to kind of the pre-Penguin area, the kind of era when everyone was kind of like, how do we build links properly, and what should we do, and a lot to kind of talk about, you know, you should earn links and stuff like that, and that's still true today, right? So but with a caveat to say, look, to be able to, to be able to be cited in an article or a listicle, whatever it might be, you kind of need to be authority within your industry to start with, okay? And that doesn't happen overnight. So you're going to have to do the right things to start with. So with our clients, we don't just work with kind of fresh clients who haven't got a clue about SEO. Obviously, we work with kind of big corporates as well. We just ensure that if you're not a authority within your space, how are you going to become authority? Now, it could be, depending on budgets, we're going to do, basic kind of link building, make sure the site is optimized properly, right keywords, so on and so forth. Start building out the kind of, the content of the site, making sure we're answering questions that the industry is asking. And this could be through normal articles or kind of blog posts, or we do kind of FAQ sections, or it could be kind of glossary sections. And then over time, through kind of getting you into basically the top, page one of the search for your industry terms, okay, you'll get picked up. Okay, people start, will do a research paper about something, and they'll start citing you because you have content, how to do this, what is this, should you be doing this, type of content, and then you start to earn this. Now, funny enough, I actually I was looking at our referring domains for our main site yesterday, just to see kind of over the last 30 days, kind of what, we're not doing a huge amount of link building. We're doing very strategic kind of link building for our own websites, and just seeing what content people are linking to. And essentially, it was really interesting. So we got content about kind of what is robot.t, robots.t, what is XML, what's eat, for instance. We got like kind of glossary pages, and I saw quite a lot of people started to cite us. So we have a glossary page about what is this, and the sites that are linking to us were all right. Some of them were really good. Some of them were, I wouldn't have rather they didn't, but you have to kind of get on with it. So, in terms of content marketing, that's what we've done for our own site. For our clients, it's a similar situation where, we've got a health, a health care client in the private sector. We saw, that they, their competitor was doing amazingly. I mean, it so much looked like this, and it was like up there, and like, what are they doing? We just found out they just like build 100 articles in like 6 months. So we kind of pitched to the clients, look, this is what they're doing. We can do the same. Let's build a content strategy around this, and literally gone there, and it's gone up a lot. Like competitor, they really like it. They get lots of traffic. They obviously get a lot of business from it, which is great. And again, we also looked into the articles. We are doing some kind of blogger outreach, link building to those articles to help it out a little bit. But we've seen actually the only links as well, because people are citing them as a very authority in space, because they're answering questions that the industry is asking. So that type of strategy is working really well at the moment, but you've got to have a bedrock of, you need to be kind of well known to start with. And it's kind of a snowball effect, and it's really true. You've got to start off really slow, and it will kind of gain momentum over time. So yeah, as long as you've got everything set up properly, you will start to link, kind of earn links naturally, but it does take time.
It kind of reverts back to something I discussed on the news episode last week around Tom Kappa's case study from Miles around brand authority versus domain authority. So he found that during the last helpful content update, if those two didn't align correctly, like your brand wasn't as strong as maybe your website authority score was giving, then you seem to be demoted in the update. If they were more in line with each other, that you had a strong brand and a strong, backlink profile, domain authority, then it seemed that you were fine or you did well. So yeah, you have to become that brand authority, that voice, before you can start, as you say.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I just go back to when I was after Penguin. It was like, earn links. Like, yeah, but can't do that until you become something in the industry. So I just kind of harp on about that. Yeah, it's so true. So true.
And so I guess obviously money's tight these days. The world's going mental. The SEO landscape is changing rapidly. What kind of challenges are you mainly facing as an agency these days? And that's going from onboarding clients to keeping them happy, I guess.
Yeah, I think away from kind of the agency, I think just generally being a business owner now is tough, right? It's certainly not easy. It's probably more difficult than ever in the history of kind of Click, to kind of run a business and keep everything kind of going. Just from a business owner standpoint, you've got cost of living, so you get a squeeze from all sides. Obviously, commercial tax has gone up to 25% from 20, so that's kind of 5% squeeze on that. You've got kind of wage increases. You have to kind of you've got to kind of keep competitive. And then, when it comes to kind of clients and budgets and expectations, you can't necessarily put your prices up because you don't win business. Someone else will come undercut you, who's got a small operation, who says they can do what you can do, but for a lot cheaper. So you got to be, you got to become, continue to be kind of competitive. It is a squeeze, so there's no doubt. When we started Click back in 2012, it was only a few SEO agencies doing SEO, and then also specialising in kind of link building and outreach and blogger outreach and stuff like that. Now it's hundreds. So competition, it's definitely kind of doubled down. But for us, it's about through the onboarding process, and I even go further back to the sales process, showing we have kind of expertise, knowledge, and we can show SEO value to our clients, and that comes through, as we said, we discussed kind of transparency, and obviously being in business for a long period of time, having awards, so on and so forth. So those all things kind of help us. In terms of kind of clients, I think the SERP has changed massively. I mean, if you look back kind of 10 years, if you tapped in kind of men's shoes kind of 10 years ago, you type it in today, complete two different SERPs. I think for e-commerce businesses, it's really tough. The kind of SERP layouts has massively changed. The organic bit is really like it's below a fold and some, right? If you're lucky on certain kind of SERPs as well. So for a kind of e-commerce business, and generally for most all businesses, we're now taking more of a holistic view of SEO. So okay, you've got your you've got a website, we've got your business listings, we've got your product listings, if you're in e-commerce space. But we want to make sure your digital footprint is as good as possible. So are you being listed in listicles? Are you being Are you being mentioned on industry known websites? So just making sure that all bases are covered. Where okay, if you're not going to be seen in the SERP where you want to be seen, you're on page one, but bottom page one because all the all the different kind of e-commerce kind of shopping bits and pieces and whatnot. You saw on page one, but you're not going to get as much clicks. Want to make sure that okay, if people do informational searches, you're there because you've got article, or you're there because someone else has cited you in their article. So it's kind of more of a holistic view versus just this is your website. We're kind of siloed. So I think that is really, really important. That's kind of happening, and essentially, as I say, trying to get cited on all the authority websites with knowledge. That will help you from listing view, for sure.
Yeah, no, really interesting. I guess also, and just when I worked in an agency a few years back, is that most of the clients even back then didn't really have data or the tools to even the same tools as you did and the same data sets that you did. You had very specialized tools, where now it seems that a lot of even like businesses and in-house have these sort of tools, whether it's just even SEMrush or whatever, they have some sort of source of data, more understanding of analytics and that kind of thing. So I guess that kind of puts a bit more pressure on that as well. No, people at the door, but we're going to ignore that. We're nearly done. The last few kind of questions, if you're cool to continue.
Yeah.
Good. So how do you like measure your campaigns, and what are the most important measures to track, especially these days if they change, over the years?
Yeah. So I think the ones we track, it's not kind of shock horror what we kind of track for our clients. I mean, we, through our kind of sales process, we try to understand what's important to the client. Okay, so we don't want to just show them low keyword rankings or traffic. Kind of what's important to them. So really understand kind of what they're looking for as a kind of a dial to say, yeah, it's working or it's not working. So effectively, our normal KPIs, which we'll kind of introduce to a client, would be kind of keyword rankings, which is kind of standard. Would also kind of home into that if they were interested in kind of like location. So let's say they had a okay, this is a good example. So we got a care home company we work with. They got different care homes around the UK. Are they interested in in having keyword rankings that are actually from that location or next to that location where their care homes are kind of located? So understanding that kind of granularity is really important. They may not care, or they may be really that's really important to them. So different types of keyword rankings, very interesting, kind of desktop, mobile, kind of blended. And then we kind of look at kind of traffic as well. Obviously, kind of GA4 there. Our APIs of that. Conversions. So essentially, we'll look at if you're kind of B2B kind of business where essentially what you're looking for them to do is either sign up to an email or you're looking for them to sign to book a meeting or a demo or pick up the phone, that sort of tracking. So for kind of B2B, that's kind of what we'll make sure we kind of got our kind of tracking kind of set up so we can report on that. If it's kind of e-commerce, we'll also have the kind of call tracking and email, but also in terms of kind of e-commerce and make sure that's kind of closed looped. And depending on how much data we have, definitely e-commerce look kind of maybe look into in terms of return on investment. So those are kind of main ones, but other things that kind of come up over the years, which we have to kind of report on, which I don't necessarily like reporting on, so I don't think it adds any value, but it's more sort of vanity thing for clients. So let's say, can you track DA or DR? So when you started, the DA was 25, now it's 35. Great. So both things we kind of shy away from. Some certain clients would kind of ask us to kind of report that on for them. Not that would be for me something I would be necessarily interested in. I think it's useful to kind of look at maybe DR over time. If you kind of see traffic, domains going up, keyword rankings going up, DR's going up, kind of makes sense. But I wouldn't necessarily in silo say, oh well, traffic's going down, keyword rankings rubbish, but DA is good. But certain clients like that. It's the main KPIs that we kind of look at.
Sure. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I've heard all sorts of people fixated on certain things, and if you educate them around how important they actually are. But yeah, it happens. So last couple. So how do you see kind of, obviously, sorry, we cover on the channel quite a lot, but how do you see AI playing what kind of role do AI play in the future of digital marketing, and kind of how is Click Intelligence preparing for this or integrating it into your processes or even your ways of working? And yeah,
I think so. It's quite interesting. I was interviewing a junior web developer for one of our roles last week, okay, and we went into AI because that was one of my questions to him. And he gave me a really good answer. And the answer was, AI at the moment is very much at responding stage, okay, where you give a command and it will respond. Okay, like so in ChatGPT, you say write me an article about Bill Gates, for instance. Okay, it will give you a nice little article about history of Bill Gates. Great. The next level of AI is going to be kind of where it thinks for itself, which is a quite scary prospect. Okay, so it's going to have its own thought. So it won't even wait for us to say create a report for X, Y, and Z client. We'll just go and do it, which is kind of good, but also scary at the same time. So where I think kind of AI is going, I think if we just look at from a Google standpoint, obviously they've done their overviews, which has been, kind of mixed results, as I'm sure you know. I think Google will get better at their overviews. We're going to have to kind of get used to them. They will give better results eventually, as SEOs to sort of continue to optimize for them, which is quite cool. We actually, side story, we actually just got last week we got a lead through ChatGPT as a referral. So someone had gone on ChatGPT, said, "Who's the best SEO company in the world?" And basically kind of came up, and then from that she then made contact. So on the referral it said ChatGPT. So that was the first one we've ever done, and we not that we done extensive amount of work to kind of optimize for it, but it was quite interesting. That was the first time that kind of came up, and I was like, "Whoa, okay." Didn't show you what search term she put in. It just said referrer ChatGPT. So I'm sure that this is going to start to, you're going to start to get a lot more traffic from ChatGPT and other kind of AI kind of search engines and overviews and whatever else. We need to optimize for them as best we can. Obviously, there's a kind of fight of, is Google nicking our content and they're not rewarding us with a link, and that will continue to go on and I'm sure we're come to a happy place where they're getting what they want and we get something that we want anyway. But they're nicking kind of contract. That's a complete different story, right? Nicking our traffic. We won't go into about that now, but we need to continue to optimize for it the best we can with the with the know-how and strategies and tools that we're aware of that. Again, it goes back to authority. Okay, ChatGPT will cite businesses that are on page 1 of Google. So if you're on page one of Google for any of your top terms in the industry or a question-based term, there's a good chance you'll be cited. So it kind of all goes into one, isn't it? Just making sure that you're doing the right things from a SEO standpoint, do everything you can. How is Click kind of preparing for a shift or utilizing AI at the moment? I think with most agencies, okay, they're like us, we're utilizing AI as much as we can, just in assisting what we're doing. So that could be kind of writing emails. If you're writing kind of sales scripts and stuff like that, you may want to write it and say, could you improve this? So it's kind of useful in that way. Maybe kind of come out with kind of content ideas, kind of write me 12 or 15 kind of content ideas, kind of topic titles around the subject, adding these keywords in. That's the stage we're at. And then if the content team is writing a really big piece of content, they may ask for, can you structure what article may look like around this subject? So that's kind of that's what we're using kind of AI for in terms of kind of kind of asking AI to write content. No, I think it's fine for them to help us with it, but actually writing of it, the actual content itself needs to be, because they have no experience of anything, right? But this is kind of, we're programming it to learn. So I'd always say, use a writer who's got the experience and knowledge and expertise to write this content. So we're using as much as we can, but there are restrictions and limitations. What I'm happy for our team to use. We'll come on to kind of what we're doing next in a minute, but AI does feature in that a little bit.
Yeah, and I guess all the tools that you use in-house, I don't know what you use, but most of them are now integrating AI in some capacity to understand the data a lot better, even GA and I guess obviously you probably use it a lot for data analysis and that kind of thing. So that's definitely, as you say, it's not one right now for writing content by itself, I don't think, but definitely on those assisting what you're currently doing, it's definitely helpful, and highly recommend it. So as you said, kind of what's next for Click Intelligence and what's down the line. Interested to hear.
Yeah, so I think in business and just in general, if you're not moving forward, you're going to move backwards. We've spoken about the squeeze and competition, kind of showing, just having a USP is really, really important. What we now decided to kind of move into is we need to continue to show our clients SEO value. Okay, we know what we're doing. We've got good performance, good results, but how can we show that off to our clients? Okay, so we're essentially moving into a to be performance reporting sector. Okay, so we're actually building ourselves basically a reporting suite, which will help us essentially show our SEO value. Now that is obviously done in lots of different ways. You obviously got from a very base level, you got the results itself, which is great, but also want to be able to show how the competitors are getting on as well, but also what else can you be doing to improve your performance. Now, a lot of our clients, we will ask them, can you update this, can you update that? Sometimes they're not always that responsive. So for us to basically show, look, right, this is an audit that we keep running for you. These are the top 5 areas of what to fix. Each month, kind of showing them, okay, look, you fixed all these, these 10 errors. We can see we now got the errors on a graph, and we can see, your traffic, your referring domains, your average key rankings over time. Less errors mean you get high performance. And basically to plot that for them over time to show them, okay, what you're doing, what we're working on together is working for you kind of massively, I think is really powerful. So basically, essentially bringing the whole kind of performance and reporting SEO value into kind of one tool. Our idea is basically to kind of, and I'm kind of nailing myself to a door here when I say this. So we're trying to get the software live internally for a small client rollout in Q4, and then our idea is then to kind of roll out to non-clients and just the kind of general public in Q1 of 2025. So that's kind of what we're working on at the moment. The AI element of that is the idea would basically be where if we did, we've got a tool where basically it allows you to analyze your content versus your competitor. Okay, and then we've set, that's kind of stage 1. Stage 2 would then be, which hasn't been built, but it's on our roadmap. Stage 2 then say, okay, using AI, what would the content have to look like to compete with your competitor? Not saying you should use AI to write content, but what the content may look like. So that's kind of where the AI will come to it, obviously with the analysis of data and stuff like that. So it's a huge amount of stuff we'll be doing. But essentially, we've always built little piece of software, little bits of kind of SEO tools on our website. Obviously, our backbone was always kind of the software and SEO kind of fused together. And now essentially it's kind of our next kind of wave, as it were, of kind of using software to kind of show our performance to our clients and giving other agencies the opportunity to use our tool set as well for their own clients. So huge exciting. Hope, fingers crossed we can obviously roll it out with what I've just said. Now I've kind of got to tell developers to kind of get on with it, and then we'll see how we get on.
That sounds awesome. Yeah, I mean, having worked both sides, both in agency and in-house, it's one of the most difficult things about SEO is not doing it. It's the explaining the progress and how it's affected results. That's probably the hardest bit of the whole job. So having any assistance in that area would be helpful for your clients. So I guess that's going to be exciting, and obviously people outside can get it as well, so that'd be cool. But we'll hold you to that and we'll see how it gets on.
That's it. Damn it. No, it's fine.
But today's been really awesome. Learned a lot and really kind of get under the hood of what's going on at Click Intelligence. That's really cool. And really appreciate you joining me today, James.
It's all right. You're very welcome.
Thank you. Cheers.